Hello everybody, ZX Presto here, and today I'm going to be talking about plot armor in Naruto fights. You've probably heard the term plot armor before because it exists in basically every anime and even maybe every fiction known to man nowadays. Every anime, every show, every movie, every book, there's plot armor. That's just how it happens. You can't be mad at it. There's always going to be plot armor. But in some cases, there's way more plot armor than others, and I think we can all agree with that. Um, I have mentioned in my past videos that I'm going to be making a video about plot armor fights in Naruto, but I'm not just going to be talking about any plot armor fights, because you've probably heard a lot of people talking about plot armor fights in Naruto, and the ones you probably hear them talking about are fights like Sasuke versus Killer Bee, where Killer Bee goes to completely stunting on Sasuke right in the middle of fighting, just dogging on him to losing and Sasuke being able to kidnap him. And then, of course, probably the biggest plot armor fight in all of Naruto that everybody talks about is Sasuke versus Deidara. And as you can see in this picture, I have Sasuke just absolutely mollywopping Deidara. Uh, that's how it went there. But if you watch the fight, you know, like, it was just genjutsu after genjutsu after genjutsu. Like, that was just his out for everything, just over and over and over and over again. It was a weird fight to watch. I watched that fight with my dad, and he was confused the whole time. He couldn't even follow because there was just so much genjutsu going on over and over and over. But it was just crazy. But those are not the fights I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about the unsung plot armor fights. The fights where the villains are the ones getting the short end of the stick. Yeah. um, wait. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, one of them is. The other two are not. The other two are the ones getting where the hero gets the short end of the stick, like it's usually. But the last one I'm gonna show, it's a little bit of a weird one because it's rare that you see a villain get plot armor, like in a big sense. Um, and that one I'm gonna talk about. Some people are probably gonna disagree with me and say that the villain did not get plot armor, but I personally think that he did. So the first one we're gonna talk about, one of the classic fights where the hero gets plot armor. This one you might be like, what? That didn't seem like plot armor at all, but I'll explain. And of course, I'm going to start off the bat. This is all my opinion. This is all debatable. This is nothing anybody should argue about. If you're going to leave a comment, please make it respectful and no argumentative or like attacking stuff. Okay, so first one, Kakuzu versus Kakashi. I think this fight was very plot armor for Kakashi, Choji, and Ino because every hit landed on Kakuzu, like his power just like took like a huge dive. Like he just got way weaker in that moment because usually he's really good with sensory. He has one of the highest IQs of any character. He has like the most experience out of any character in the show, and he's just able to randomly get like surprised when he shouldn't be able to. And in my opinion, Kashi shouldn't be able to keep up with him because I mean, come on, Kakuzu fought Hashirama and survived. At this point in the show, I don't think there's any other character that could have done that. Because at this point in the show, we hadn't seen really Itachi and Pain do much. Like Itachi, Pain, and Obito. Like those are the only three characters other than him right now that exist in the show that probably could have fought Hashirama and even survived. And the only reason Kakuzu could probably survive was because of his hardening. And that's another thing in this fight. Kakazu really didn't use his hardening that much, which I think is a little bit of plot armor for Kakashi, because if he would have abused that, it would have been really over for Kakashi. I mean, um, in the earlier episodes, like when him and Hidan took down the monk base, like, this isn't really power scaling, but if you do a little bit of scaling with the size of the huge door slash wall Kakazu punched down, that was like a 6 foot thick solid iron door that Kakazu punched down with ease, which is really impressive, and Kakashi would be really done if that were to happen. And earlier in this fight, he stopped Choji's human boulder with one hand, and this is more impressive than people think because in the war arc, when they're fighting Ginkaku and Kinkaku on like the ocean shore, Choji charges one of them who has the Nine Tails chakra at the time, mind you, one of the people that killed Tobirama, and it just knocked him completely over. And that was while they were in like the tailed beast like demon state. And Kakazu was able to stop that with just one hand, standing straight up without any kind of stance, which is extremely impressive. I just personally think Kakashi got extra plot armor in this. Some people would say Kakazu would have lost anyways because of the Mangekyo. I think he's fast enough to dodge it because even Datara, like the slowest, well, I don't even know what I'm saying. Like he is probably definitely the slowest Akatsuki member. I think maybe he might be a little faster than Zetsu and Hidan. He's definitely faster than Zetsu. Not sure about Hidan. He was on a bird at the time, but we know how fast Kakazu is. He's really fast. He's been able to surprise a lot of different people, been able to just speed blitz people. Kakazu's a really fast guy. So I think he could definitely dodge the Mangekyo without even taking much damage. Even if he did take damage, he could probably just rebuild his arm like he usually does, or make it fall off before it can disappear. Whatever. Of course, Kakashi has the lightning, which Kakazu can't deal with because even with its hardening, the only way to get through it, as I've explained in the Unrecognized Power of Kakazu video, you should go watch that video, by the way. It has about 73 views now. The only way to get through his hardening is through durability negation and lightning style, which Kakashi just happens to specialize in lightning style. I actually had a debate with somebody once where they kind of enlightened me with this. I was pitching this same argument that was a whole bunch of plot armor, and someone enlightened me and showed that the hardening ability can be gotten through with lightning style, which is how Kakashi was able to take the first heart. But after that, I just think it was mostly plot armor. But even that, I don't think he should have been able to sneak up on Kakazu. But anyways, I think I've covered this one enough. Now on to the next one. And it just so happens to include the same guy, my main man Kakazu. This fight, of course, this is really inconsequential. This is basically like an honorable mention. This fight doesn't really matter to the story at all. I think this fight is canon. I think it's canon, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyways, this fight's real plot armor because uh, how about I just show you the clip and you'll be able to see for yourselves. I'll explain it while we're watching because you won't have any audio anyways. So I'm here on YouTube now. I'm going to be using this guy, Max Naruto Lover's video. I gotta give him credit. Go check him out. Of course, he has way more views and subscribers than me, but check him out anyways. Whatever. I want to spread the love to everybody. But as you can see in this, watch. So Hidan goes at Kakazu. Then Kakazu punches him right through the chest. Okay. Then Hidan's on the ground. Gets up. He's bleeding all over the place. He dropped his scythe. Okay, so I should have checked this clip before, but what happens, you can take my word for it, is all he does, because he still doesn't have his scythe picked up, he stands up, grabs Kakazu by the like tendrils, and pulls the fist out and throws it away. Then he stands up, makes this circle. Wait, no. Now it's this. My bad. See, look. So, then he drinks his own blood. That happens. Then he stabs out one of Kakazu's hearts right here. So, I'm not quite sure if you see the issue here, but the issue, first of all, this is the issue you could see. He never damaged Kakazu. Now, the second issue you could use is that Kakazu doesn't have blood. If you've seen the Kakashi fight, if you've seen this fight, he doesn't bleed. I mean, Kakashi used Lightning Blade on him and he didn't bleed at all. When he got Rasen Shuriken used on him, he didn't bleed. Like, he doesn't bleed. He only has tendrils. The experiments that the Waterfall Village did on him, he just doesn't have blood now. That's just how it is. So he shouldn't be able to do this, but of course, this is just one that doesn't really matter, so it's not that big a deal. I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was a thing to point out. Cool little thing. This was a cool fight, of course. I love Kakazu. If you have watched a few of my videos, you probably know I love Kakazu, but I try not to be biased towards him, but I love him, and it's just another thing I can make an excuse about to talk about him. Now on to the third fight. This one is going to be extremely controversial, especially because the character that I'm going against has a lot of fans, like a lot of diehard fans that fight for them. Now, Madara versus Might Guy. Okay, so hear me out. I'm also y'all also know I love Might Guy. He's my favorite Naruto character, or at least one of them. Because I have to say my top three favorite Naruto characters are probably Might Guy, Jiraiya, and Danzo, to be honest. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care. I love Danzo. I think his character arc and his dynamic with Hiruzen is way underrated. Anyways, Might Guy and Madara. I think this fight was plot armor because first of all, this kind of shows how underrated Might Guy is because I just rewatched that fight not so long ago. Something I didn't realize before. Might Guy was doing pretty good against Ten Tails Madara when he was just in the seventh gate, because no one had even been able to do anything to Madara until Might Guy went in just the seventh gate. Because like some people try to say that the Might Guy and Kisame fight was close when he went to seventh gate, but it was not even close. Might Guy is way stronger than Kisame in the seventh gate. I think he's way underrated. No matter what, some people think that it would take the eighth gate for him to solo the six paths of pain. That is extremely wrong. I'd say he would definitely beat the six paths of pain in the seventh gate. I mean, there's nothing they could really do against that, especially since he's able to stay in it so long compared to the eighth gate. I think he'd probably do better in the seventh gate than the eighth gate, maybe. Yeah, actually, it's kind of debatable because his speed's a lot better in the eighth gate, but I think he'd still be able to beat them in the seventh. Anyways, in the eighth gate, it's supposed to be way stronger, and we definitely see that because he's dogging on Madara. There's just a lot of things that people underrate with eight gates guy. I'm not gonna say he's faster or stronger than Naruto or Sasuke or whatever, but we haven't seen another character in the show bend space like he did because Madara even acknowledged that because he tried to do a counter attack when Might Guy was doing a Night Guy attack, and Madara's staff completely like bent out of like just bent like warped like in space, and no other character has shown any kind of feat like that. I definitely think Might Guy loses like Naruto and Sasuke, but I think he beats Kakashi DMS, and I definitely think because like people just I think people overrate Naruto and Sasuke in their own verses and outside their verses. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. When he delivers that Night Guy attack, because I think before he delivers the Night Guy attack, everything is going as it should. There's nothing iffy about it. I mean, he definitely needs the help from Lee, Kakashi, and Minato to deliver like the hits from Sekizo and whatnot. But when he delivers the Night Guy attack, what's kind of iffy is he blows off the whole right side of Madara's body, including his heart. And how Madara dies from Zetsu is being stabbed. Oh no, it's not the right side of Madara's body, it's the left side, my bad. It's the right side when you're watching. And how Madara dies from Zetsu is Zetsu stabbing him in the heart, aka left side of his body, where Might Guy blew off. So I don't know if this is an error on the editor's part or just complete plot armor, but in my opinion, this is kind of going off into a little rant here, but in my opinion, I think a lot of people will agree with me. In my opinion, in the war arc, how it should have ended is because I've seen a lot of different like variations of this, but they're all similar in some way. I think Kaguya should stay in the story. I don't think she should have been taken out, but I think Might Guy should have died fighting Madara, but beaten him in a totally epic way, and then Kaguya comes for Naruto and Sasuke to fight. That's how I think it should have gone personally, but of course it didn't. Um, I think it's kind of stupid that um, Madara and Might Guy both survived, like the final attack. I think they both should have died, but that's just my opinion. I think that would have just made the story cooler. Might Guy's my favorite character, but I mean, like sometimes you just gotta have your favorite characters die, man. I love sad stuff in anime, stuff that makes you feel a lot of emotion, just is heart wrenching. But sometimes you just gotta deal with how the story is. I still love that fight. I still love Madara, and I still love Might Guy, and I still love the show. At the end of the day, those are the fights I think have the most plot armor that aren't mentioned enough. You can let me know in the comments what you think of this video. Please leave a like and please subscribe. Please share with your friends. Please do everything to spread the word of my channel. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.